Hey friends, welcome back. Today I want to talk about a book that genuinely changed my life, my relationships, and even how I see my faith a little bit. It's called Boundaries by Dr. Henry Cloud and Dr. Townsend. If you've ever felt overwhelmed trying to keep everyone else happy, struggled with guilt for saying no, or wished you had a clearer sense of where you end and somebody else begins, this one's for you. What surprised me most about this book is how much of what they teach lines up with biblical wisdom. Stuff I've heard my whole life but never really applied in this way. So whether you've read it, heard about it, or have no clue what it is, stick around. I think you'll find something here that helps you reclaim a little more peace, purpose, and breathing room in your life. At its core, this book is about learning where your responsibilities start and stop in relationships, and how to honor both yourself and others in healthy, loving, biblical ways. The authors explain what boundaries are, why we need them, and how to set them in practical, compassionate ways, whether it's with family, friends, coworkers, or even yourself. They show through scripture that God designed us to have agency and stewardship over our own lives, and that constantly rescuing others from their own emotions, consequences, or problems isn't loving, it's enabling. It covers things like different types of boundaries, whether they be physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. Common myths people believe, like if I set boundaries, I'm being unchristian, or how to handle pushback when you start setting limits. In this video, I'll share the key lessons I took from this book so you can get valuable insights in a quick, digestible format. It's a great way to sample the book's wisdom and decide if it's one you'd like to dive into yourself. So let's get started. Lesson 1. Boundaries aren't selfish. They are loving. One of the first big shifts for me was realizing that boundaries aren't about being mean, cold, or selfish. They're one of the healthiest, most loving things you can do for yourself and for the people around you. When you say yes to everything, you eventually have nothing left to give. And that's not kindness, that's burnout. And you know who modeled this perfectly? Jesus. The same Jesus who healed people and taught crowds also regularly stepped away. Matthew 14:23 says, he went up into a mountain apart to pray. He said no sometimes. He rested. He didn't chase after every demand. And if Jesus needed boundaries, we definitely do too. Lesson number 2. Your no protects your yes. Every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. How many times have we agreed to things out of guilt or obligation only to realize later we were saying no to rest, family time, or something God had actually placed on our hearts? Ecclesiastes 3:1 reminds us, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heavens. And a time to every purpose under heaven. Part of maturity is learning to discern what's for now, what's for later, and what's not ours to carry at all. Lesson number 3. You're not in charge of other people's feelings. This one was hard for me, and maybe it is for you too. You are not responsible for how other people feel about your boundaries. Of course, you should be kind and clear, but we cannot manage everyone's emotions about our limits. Some people will be disappointed or frustrated when you start honoring your capacity, and that's okay. Their reactions belong to them, not you. Galatians 1:10 keeps me grounded when I feel tempted to say yes just to keep the peace. For do I now persuade men or God? If I yet please men, I should not be the servant of Christ. Lesson number 5. Boundaries make space for real love. The beautiful thing is, when you get clear about your boundaries, your relationships actually get better. Resentment fades, misunderstandings shrink, you show up more present and whole. Healthy limits makes room for healthy love. Matthew 22:39 says to love thy neighbor as thyself. And you can't do that if you're running on fumes and losing yourself in the process. Lesson number 6, responsible to versus responsible for. One concept that hit me the hardest was the difference between being responsible to people and being responsible for them. For so long, I thought it was my job to manage other people's feelings, reactions, and decisions, especially with difficult or manipulative family members. But boundaries showed me that while I'm called to love, support, and care for others, I am not responsible for their emotions, choices, or consequences. The Bible makes this distinction beautifully in Galatians 6, where it says to bear ye one another's burdens, but also that every man should bear his own burden. In the original Greek, these two burdens are different words. One means heavy, overwhelming load. The other means personal daily pack. That helped me realize it's good and biblical to help when people are crushed under something too heavy. But it's not my job to carry what they're fully capable of handling themselves. That one shift has made such a difference in how I love people well without losing myself in the process. Is boundaries for you? If you feel overwhelmed or stretched thin, struggle to say no, carry guilt for setting limits, and feel responsible for fixing everyone else's problems, or you just want your relationships to be healthier, kinder, and more rooted in truth, then this book is for you, especially if you've wrestled with how to be a loving Christian without becoming a doormat. Because at the end of the day, healthy boundaries don't push people away. They actually bring more peace, freedom, and genuine love into your life. And they align so beautifully with what the Bible teaches about wisdom, stewardship, and grace. If anything I shared today resonated with you, drop a comment and let's talk about it. What's your biggest struggle with boundaries? Or if you've already read the book, what stuck with you the most? And if you haven't and would like to experience it fully, I'll leave a link in the description. If you found this helpful, give it a like or share it with a friend who could use a little boundary encouragement too. And as always, help yourself to anything that resonates and feel free to leave the rest. Help yourself feel free. I'll see y'all next time. A time to be born, a time to die.